Good evening, everyone. This is our special board meeting of March 4th, 2022 of the Board of Park District Commissioners here in Lake Bluff, in Lake County, Illinois. At 6:30, we're calling the meeting to order. Marcia, could I get roll call, please?
Commissioner Greenfield. Here. Commissioner Lane. Here. Commissioner Raymore. Here. Commissioner Reader. Here. Commissioner Walsh. Commissioner Weber. Here. President Beeler.
Here. Next up, we have the approval of our agenda for this evening. Can I get a motion, please, to?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Greenfield.
Yes.
Commissioner Lane. Yeah. Commissioner Raymore.
Yes.
Commissioner Reader. Yes. Commissioner Weber.
Yes.
President Beeler.
Yes. Next up is our statement of visitors. This gives anyone the opportunity who is with us here tonight or via Zoom as well to be able to address the board about any matters that pertain to the Park District, whether they're on our agenda or not. Everyone is given an opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes. And we always ask that everyone remains courteous and they make their address to the board. Is there anyone here tonight who would like to speak? Yes, please.
Come up here. Yes, my name is Randy Private. My wife and I moved into Turner about 4.5 years ago. We wanted to be close to our son, Nathan, his wife Katie, who some of you may know, she's on your foundation. Our 3 elementary grandsons, Ivan, Warner, and James. They live at 670 Green Bay Road, which is right adjacent to the tennis pickleball court combination. I want to speak as a dad, a granddad, and also as a taxpayer. In the past, when I would visit them and sit in their backyard, occasionally we would have a tennis ball that would fly over and we'd hear the tennis balls, and you know, that was fine. There was up to 8 people playing. Now with 4 pickleball courts, which could be up to 16 plus 4 tennis courts, tennis people, it's just different. The sound generated by the pickleball is not acceptable. It's a big difference from a tennis ball. There's high-pitched vibrations and the range are very annoying to people. It's almost like having almost a pistol range in your backyard. I mean, boom, and then it's off, and boom, boom. They can hear the noise inside the home now. It's not just when you're sitting in the backyard. And I asked, would you want that in your yard, in your home? The bedrooms upstairs in their home they're upstairs, and I know that there's a high impulse noise. And one day Katie got woken up and she went down there were people playing early, and you know, she doesn't usually get upset, but she needs her sleep. And she was quite upset. I'm a former educator and I'm concerned about things affecting boys, poor concentration, impaired performance because of the boys trying to study and it's interfering with their lives. I'm concerned about all types of medical stuff that could happen, hypertension, hearing loss because of hearing that boom and boom and boom. And I'm also concerned as a dad about the loss of the property value to their home. My wife was an appraiser, and you know, it kind of goes against what a park district should be about, improving the quality of life of every resident. As a taxpayer, and I was a former school board member, homeowner association officer in different life, I just wonder if the park district has done a complete cost analysis of the cost of maintaining pickleball at the Blair location. And I wonder if you considered all contingencies. Well, I've got some questions and you have answered them fine. As the science of pickleball sounds and evaluate, reading about physics, I've learned that there's limited benefits of sound barriers because of diffraction, reflection, and refraction. And also have the health impairments of the residents been studied. In the interim, I guess, has the park district considered mandating quieter EVA paddles and balls just for the Blair Park consideration? Is the park district prepared to assume costs associated with noise variance violations with the village? I know they're upset. Some other neighbors are upset to the point where they're going to call. There's a sound ordinance about 70 decibels, and I think that's violated. Also has the cost of defending the park district from possible homeowner litigation been considered or research? It's something to consider. Has consideration been given to how the public is gonna react if there is public and private litigations, because there could be, I don't know. And has the cost of creating pickleball courts that are not in immediate vicinity homes been calculated? What's the difference in cost between new courts and not spending for walls that have a minimal impact on solving the problem? I know your mission statement is, as responsible stewards of community resources, the district will enhance the community through recreational activities, experiences in a fun, safe, and healthy environment. My last question is, what's the justification for not following the last part of your mission statement? For the affected neighbors, they will no longer be exposed to a fun, safe, and healthy environment in their homes. Please reconsider and decide against continued usage of Blair Park for pickleball. Find other locations away from private residences. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Beer and Board of Commissioners. I'm Village President Regis Charlot, and I live at 243 East Wishwood in Bluff.
And I'm Village Trustee Taryn Fisher. I'm 237 West Blodgett.
I did not come to Randy, for example, to come tonight, so I want to make that very clear. Even though we will speak about the same. Since last summer, the Village and Park Board have been bound by tension stemming from pickleball facilities in the village. Simply, the Park District is trying to fulfill its mission to enhance the community through recreational experiences within its capabilities and resources, and the village is tasked with protecting, and I quote, the village health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the village and its residents in a fair and transparent process for all residents. From time to time, we experience tension and passionate discussions. It is inevitable and it is democracy. But we here in Lake Bluff, we always seem to work with our differences and we achieve big things with our very limited budget and our small town. This shared service approach and partnership is the Lake Bluff way. And this is why we choose to live here. Now, tonight, we are pleased to have a chance to engage in community discussion and past reluctance and past former tensions. So Taryn and I are here to represent the Lake Bluff Board of Trustees and show our support for pickleball play and facilities in our community. The Park Board's initiation of the Rio zoning process for Blair Park and the pickleball facility, which we understand is on your agenda tonight, and supporting pickleball facilities improvement by capital investment.
So I just want to reiterate that the village has always been and remains committed to supporting pickleball in Lake Bluff. And we want to do that through transparency and a transparent process to establish and support the pickleball facilities. So in fact, as Regis noted, the village board right now is very much inclined to provide additional resources to the Park District to improve pickleball facilities. And we want to do that in partnership to help the Park District and the community assure that pickleball remains in Lake Bluff, that play standards and safety standards are met, and if need be, contribute to corrective capital needs. Our goal for pickleball in Lake Bluff is to partner with the Park District to maximize playing hours, court time, to continue enriching the communities and the community members' lives through the sports that they enjoy. I really believe that this elevates the community's health. So that being said, the public process has worked extremely well for our community. It's worked well for the community over many, many decades. And we have every expectation that it will continue to work for the Park District and the pickleball community. I want to point out that the folks on our advisory boards are very talented and wise neighbors with deep understandings of our community and its members. Many of them, in fact, serve on your advisory boards as well. we together have a strong collective understanding of our respective missions, goals, and capabilities. And in the spirit of cooperation and partnership, we're here tonight to support forward momentum, and specifically the forward momentum that has been generated between our two governmental bodies in the last few weeks. We would really hope that that momentum will continue through your action tonight.
The village is prepared to offer the Park District a sizable grant to fund pickleball facility courts improvements that will enable the Park District compliance with a village zoning and building regulations. Collectively, we're all committed to the success of this community. We know that respectively, both boards operate with the best interests of our community in mind. But it is through our collaboration that we are best suited to exceed the expectation of our public service. Our presence here this evening is our way to reiterating our commitment to collaborate with you, and we hope your actions tonight keeps this collaboration in mind, on track. Thank you.
Shiloh and Trustee Fisher. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to address the board and the statement of visitors?
There are none.
Okay, thank you. All right, that concludes our first part of our agenda. Next up is verbal communications, board president's report. I have none for this evening. New business, Park District financial review discussion.
Okay. So we have some new information, having just spoken with our pool architect today, and this afternoon. In fact, they came back and let us know that they're not able to do this project, take it on for us to have the drawings ready in time. We would need to have all of the construction documents ready to be put out for bid and out for permitting. And specifically the permitting with IDPH right now is taking a little bit longer than they expected. They first thought 2 to 3 months. They're saying it's been about 3 to 4 months now. They have a new director at IDPH, and the process seems to be taking longer, the review process for the permits. And you can't start construction before they're approved. And then, as you know, we're also talking about to the village about the building permits and what would be required as part of that process. But as far as the firm, including the engineering, to get these plans together, they wanted to have it done and be ready to go out by May 31st, and they don't have the capacity to do that right now. With several other projects that they're involved with. So if we want to pursue the September timing for this year, we would be looking at a different firm and starting over, but close to it process with a different firm. If we were to find one that could put this together in about, again, that 2.5 month window, it's unfortunate that the timing of the grant, when it's awarded, it just puts you under the gun right away. As soon as it's you don't have a lot of time for a project if you're looking to start in September. But in speaking with Ray, for them, they would be very comfortable in doing the project with us, where we would have the drawings prepared by before the end of the year, to be put out for both permit and for bid in November, December timing, and then or put out for permit, I should say, and then go out for bid in January and get the bid awarded sometime in February, get the contractor locked in. The other thing that he was concerned about, we discussed at the last meeting, there's a long lead time on some of the material. So again, trying to do it this September and award the bid, in June, we might, run into that problem where there may be some materials that they that hold up the progress. So, by doing it the following, the following year, then we give them a little bit longer lead time, a lot longer lead times, once you award the bid and, give the contractor enough time. So we could, if we look at that time and close the pool in mid-August and start construction. The downside, again, we're trying to get 2 seasons out of the pool instead of 1. We know that's always, there's a bit of a risk to that. So depending on the board's interest, we can, I can reach out to some other firms to see if they have the capacity to take on this project and have the drawings ready by the end of May. Or we could pursue the 2025 timing for the project. We do have, as far as the financing, we have someone on Zoom here, our bond counselor, that's going to walk through his presentation and go through that for the financing options. But I just wanted to get that information out first so that the board is, what we're looking at here for options.
Everyone's just going.
I would like to say that I think it would be a great idea to get a second opinion on getting the proposal. I know I mentioned to you the Stuckley Aquatic Engineer.
Yes, they don't do the architectural work, but they do, they do the construction, and I believe they do the engineering. So I have corresponded with them a little bit regarding the project, but we've not met.
WFG, they've been involved with those before, are they?
Yeah, that's,
I don't know. Oh, is that what you just said?
well, that's who works with them.
With stuff, okay, right.
Yeah, I would be happy to, we've worked with WB Olson. I've met with Williams Architects in my first year when I started here, because that's who I built a new pool with in Chilla Park. So I had them come out and walk through the facility and give us a bid and renewing our, going through and doing the cost estimates and project. At the time, we, decided to stay with FGM just because of their history and their experience with our facility. But I'm happy to reach out to some others this week and try to see what the timing would look like for those folks, if there's anybody that would have that capacity.
Okay, because again, as you said last time we met, ratification of the award is in April.
Correct.
So it's not officially ours. We could possibly take 300,000 up front in order to be able to facilitate this. And if there is an architect who's willing to take on the project this quickly, that would be beneficial. Greatly beneficial.
Yeah, I
Because,
agree.
again, I'm gonna kind of turn to Ben as well to say it's 2 pools, 2 seasons of the pool.
We have Lucas filling in on audio tonight, but
Sorry.
yeah, it's
I apologize.
yeah. That's a compliment, Ben. Yeah, so I mean, we're happy to reach out and touch base with a couple of different firms to see if we have an option to to anybody has the capacity to do that. I guess they have a question for Scott. I think that, we could, I know we have that $30,000 threshold. It's obviously be well over that. And so for some professional services like architects, if you have that former relationship, you can waive that. If we are to go out and look at a different firm, would we need to do an RFP and put that out, or would we be able to choose another one?
The professional selective statute requires you to go out for RFQs if you don't have a relationship with an architect. And it's a process. I actually have done this, I believe, for architects. So I may have an RFQ that I could.
But time wise, it's a month or 6 weeks.
Probably about a month to 6, yeah, because you gotta get your snow And then, yeah, to get the responses,
We're in a very,
Yeah.
I think reaching out though, just to see if there would be anybody who would have that window to do that. It would be.
Do we know what the typical time is for the zoning process in the village? I mean, is that gonna be a problem?
We've met with Drew and discussed it. Again, it kind of depend on whether we needed to do the RIO for the entire campus. Could it be? Do we need to do the RIO at all? Because this is mostly maintenance and repair of the pool, and we're not adding any new amenities. So there's no new slide or water feature, any new amenities. We really, we're replacing pipes, and so there's some question whether it's just repair and maintenance. And it just needs the building permits and that review from the village, or does it need the RIO? And if it does need the RIO, could that be focused on the pool so that we're not spending a lot of time piecing together a plan for the entire campus when we're focused on that? And then we're also talking about the RIO for pickleball. So that's something that they're looking at to see what sort of, what they can do administratively with that, because if it does take, if we do need the full RIO review of the entire Bluff Park, it's, going to be a lengthier process.
Anything else? All right, so if you could, John, and let us know if there's anybody else who could possibly in this window of time be able to take on that endeavor, would be great. Next up, we do put full project financing options. Scott spoke last time about how we can look at projections long-term as to, or longer term, I should say, as to how we're going to look at financing internally for repairs to the pool, especially since we have the Osley grant. So,
Right. And John, we have somebody here tonight who will walk through this.
We do. Brett is on Zoom this evening, and he's going to be walking through. This was the presentation prepared by Piper Sandler, specifically Eric Anderson back in the fall. So that it's been just updated, and Brett's going to walk through it this evening.
Good evening. My name is Brett Noor. Like you said, I work with Eric Anderson at Piper prior to his retirement. So my name is new to you all, but I've been working for you guys behind the scenes a little bit. So I'm not new to the district. Am I able to share my screen, or were you all able to print out the presentation?
Yeah, we all have a copy of it in front of us.
Okay, great. Well, thanks again for letting me jump on Zoom and being accommodating. I wasn't able to make it in person tonight.
Time out.
So
I jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Jeff, are you able to share your screen, or let Brett share his screen so he can walk through it?
Brett's got it.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a pretty similar presentation for what Eric Anderson gave in the fall. But the biggest difference between this one and the last one is we're now looking at closer to $1 million as financing due to the grant, and that's just what I've been given at this point. So the biggest point I'd like to make here in the first page is we've shown you two different avenues to issue bonds. One would be the limited park bonds, otherwise known as non-referendum bonds, and the other are debt certificates. So limited park bonds are a levied item, while debt certificates are paid from fund balances, other types of revenues. So pretty much the key distinction is the first one is paid by taxpayers, the second one is paid by the district, basically. We've ran a few different scenarios from 750,000 to 1.25 million, just showing a very high level analysis of what limited park bonds would look like. And these numbers aren't really, they pretty much apply to the same based on whichever timing the district moves forward. This could happen in the summer, in the fall, in the winter. It's not necessarily, oh, this has to be whatever I assumed. So move on to the next page. The red bars represent the district's current outstanding non-referendum bonds, and the dotted blue line represents the maximum amount of debt service you can extend each year. This amount is increased by CPI each year up to 5%. So recently CPI has been so high that the districts actually, their debt service extension base, that's what we call the blue line, has increased by 5%. And that's actually increased the amount of non-referendum debt the district can issue. These years at the bottom are the levy year. So in levy year 2022 and 2023, the district actually did not fully consume the maximum amount just because of the such high levels of inflation we've seen in CPI. We didn't budget for that in the previous years, but certainly okay. And then in levy year 2024, which is payment year 2025, so that would be the first opportunity to fill the gap and raise additional funds for capital. So this is the first scenario we're looking at. This is $750,000 issue. The dotted red lines represent the new bonds that would be issued for the pool. It's a very quick repayment. They would be fully repaid off by 2029, and then in 2029, there's all that empty space, which represents more bonding opportunity out long. You can see the left-hand column, I have separated the payment year for the levy year. The deadline to access levy year 2024 would be actually February of 2025. So when you ask about timing, this would have to happen anytime between now and February of the next year. In the 2 years prior, CPI has been 5%. This year it came in at 3.4%, much more normal. And then going forward, we just assume a blanket 1.5% just to be conservative. Next page is pretty similar to the one we've just shown you. This is a little bit more, $1 million. We project this would be 100% paid off by the 2031. And then your next referendum opportunity would be in late 2021. And then this scenario is 1.25 million. It's a little bit more of a stretch, and where you fill all the gaps, and the next opportunity would be 2032. So each scenario is pretty similar. It's just a matter of when do you want the next opportunity to issue bonds, and how much do you want to borrow versus just using out of your own funds. Now, this is only showing your limited bond scenarios. There's also debt certificates you can issue on top of this. And that's what we've shown you last fall. And the one thing I'd like to mention is there's certain steps to take when issuing limited park bonds. Yes, they are non-referendum, but there are certain requirements. The first would be the BINA hearing, which you'd hold, which is just a hearing. You give the public an opportunity to comment on the bonds. You post a notice in the paper between 7 and 30 days before the hearing. Once the hearing is concluded, then you have to wait 7 days before issuing the bonds. And you have up to 3 years from the BINA hearing to issue the bonds. So the timing isn't, it doesn't need to be exact. So if the district isn't sure when bonds would be issued, you can always do the BINA hearing sometime sooner. That way it expedites the process later on in the year if you get the green light to go ahead and move forward with any type of financing. I think that's all I covered in the quick analysis. It was just a quick update for what we showed you back in the fall. Are there any questions? And I went through that pretty quick.
Yeah, thanks for that overview. I'd like to go back to that $250,000 scenario for a moment, if we can.
Sure.
Up to Jeff.
So
Sorry,
the
Yep, perfect. Okay, so the proposed debt at the bottom there, I believe that's 876,438. Is that what you see? Sorry, it's a little small.
Yes, that's the principal and the interest. So it would be 750,000 in principal, and the $116,000 over would be the total interest paid over the life of the bonds.
Okay, and then what interest rate is
So in
that?
this analysis, I'm assuming 5%, but talking with our bank placement desk who sell bonds to banks every day, they expect this to come in around 4 to 4.5. So I was a little bit conservative. But, given it's a tax-backed bond and given the district's profile, banks would be interested in this type of financing.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And Brett, how far in advance can you have that hearing?
You get 3 years and from when the hearing is concluded to when you can issue the bonds.
Okay. So better to do this in advance, with the thought that we could issue those bonds later.
Yeah, if you do the binding hearing in advance, it would probably expedite the total process by a few weeks. So that way you have the green light to go ahead, because how the process works is we will put together a packet to banks and we'll send it over to plenty of banks locally and nationwide. We'll give them a few weeks to review the terms and get back to us with a rate. And that does take a few weeks. And then from there, once we award the bonds, it takes another few weeks to actually close and distribute funds. So the process isn't a quick turnaround. It probably takes close to 6 to 8 weeks. But if you do the binding hearing ahead of time, that could save a little bit of time.
Anybody else with questions for Brett?
Oh,
No? Okay. Thank you. We appreciate you providing that information for us.
yeah, I have the update on the headroom because that has changed a lot. And it makes a big difference. Where we had no headroom, now we know we have a reasonable amount.
Yeah. And especially as we're looking at the pool and whatever, we know that the numbers have been fluctuating because of the construction costs and everything else, and what we're gonna be able to do for the repairs. This is good to know. All right, anything else from you, Scott, or?
Yeah, just kind of give a quick update. I spoke with a contact of mine at Wintrust Bank. I have just a business relationship with him. Just wanted to get his opinion about, does he deal with any municipalities? Kind of explain the situation where it's like, hey, we're comfortable, we have the headroom to kind of get us through, but is there a world in which you kind of extend a line of credit in case we were to get a little too close to more, paying off some of our, kind of day-to-day expenses. And he said yes, but he gave me the contact of somebody at the Lake Forest Bank and Trust to talk out to kind of run through that scenario a little bit more, because Lake Forest Bank and Trust does own some Park District debt already. So more to come.
Okay,
But encouraging start.
that's good. That's good. Okay, because again, our commitment is to be able to fund this internally. And there's always so much that we can do with the pool, and we are ready to work on that. Okay, anything else on pool financing? No. All right, our next agenda item is to look and or go into executive session. Thank you, Nikki. You're already turning to the verbiage, and I appreciate that.
I move that we go into executive session for probable or imminent litigation pursuant to section 5 ILCS 120/2C11.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane, yes, Commissioner Raymore,
Yes.
Commissioner Reader,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, yes, Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Fielder.
Yes.
So if you can mute the mics.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. We're coming out of our executive session. Sure. We've come out of our executive session. Okay, I don't need to do roll call again to come out. All right. As a result of our discussion in the closed executive session regarding pending imminent litigation, we have a motion to bring forward that while we do not agree with the village regarding their alleged violation of the change of use in our racket courts, We do believe that it is our best plan to move forward for the community, to apply for the Rio plan for pickleball zoning for Artesian and Blair Parks. Could someone make that motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
And may I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Greenfield,
No.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Raymore,
Yes.
Commissioner Reader.
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Beeler.
Yes. That brings us to the end of our agenda for this evening. May I have a motion, to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
And this is a voice vote, so all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for your service tonight.